So it is morning after Hurricane Ian. We were so lucky in not having to, we were so lucky. So it's the morning after Hurricane Ian and we've just made it back home to find out what's happened. Overall, it looks like the house is okay, but definitely some garden losses we can already see. So I will take you around as we assess all the damage to see what made it, what didn't, and then I'll kind of give you kind of what I see in the area for what plants seem to be the most susceptible to and what seem to be doing pretty good. So here is the garden. I can already tell one thing that's down. Papaya right there. This one looks like it got beat up pretty bad. Arch trellis. This was not a strong arch trellis, I will tell you that. It's not the same full cattle panels and 7-foot posts. This one was a thing we hodgepodged together. So I'm not really surprised that that toppled over, but we'll have to figure out how we're gonna fix it. But luckily, oh, my favorite marsh rattlesnake, you survived. You were my most favorite, and I know you're the bee's favorite right now, so that's exciting. That's doing just absolutely fine. These plants all, I'm trying to see if I can see anyone that I lost right away in the new garden. And it looks like our natives, while maybe a little tipped over, some blazing star here, looks like vanilla flower very much leaning. Looks like all these ones, cardinal flowers did pretty good. I can see them. Looks like our natives did pretty good, which is, it's got me a little bit, not a little bit, it's got me a lot of excited. I'm tired. You can tell it's very early in the morning and don't sleep very well when there's a hurricane coming. But honestly, it looks like in the native garden area, we're doing really, really good. Other than some lean, but hopefully we can kind of like, we can get them back up in the long run. But overall, they all look pretty good. It doesn't look like we had much stripping. Now I do want to be very realistic. Like, we did not get category 4 force winds here. I think I said as we were wrapping up the house, one of our biggest worries was storm surge, because we live in the Tampa Bay area. But luckily, like last time, like with Irma, the bay sucked dry instead of flooding. Because we flood, 3 feet of water. I honestly don't know how these plants would fare, but it looks like overall everyone did pretty good on the native side. So it's a win for the natives. So let's check out, banana racks. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I know we've already lost one. It was the one that was leaning on the fence into my neighbor's Kim and Shane's yard. We know that one went because they texted us and were like, bananas, which is kind of one of the things about, do you stake, don't you stake? I actually edited out a section where I was talking about, you got to worry about when you start staking things, because then you get into shearing forces. And I'm guessing that's kind of what happened with this one. So we're gonna go look at bananas, and then we'll see what we can do about that papaya in a little bit. And banana, all right, at least 2 racks of bananas. Oh, giant ironweed, no good. Looks like we lost a branch from Ponciana. Otherwise everyone's just leaning. Oh no, oh, our privet senna. Okay, we can try to get that up very quickly. And it started to flower. Oh, you poor baby. You finally flowered as you're leaning over. Okay, well, we'll work on getting that back up. Let me see back here. Oh, wait, let me finish bananas. Did we lose that banana? Oh, we didn't lose it. We didn't lose it. It's still here. This one, I was like, oh, I was so sure we were going to lose this one. The other one that was in Kim and Shane's yard actually was is the most supported one. And it's the one that snapped. So we'll go see later if there's any salvaging of that one. But if we only lost, of 4 bunches, if we only lost one, and it was the one that was supported actually the best, and it's the one that keeled over. So let's put that in our little notebooks for future hurricane preps on whether you want to try to support these things or not. But 3 out of 4 racks, I'll take it because that's about 100, 120 pounds, maybe up to max 150 pounds of bananas that we'll have for October and November. Yes. Okay, so let's go check on the wildflowers and the vegetables over this way. Oh, and since we're back here, sorry, before our baby papayas. So if we need to replace a papaya, we have a papaya. And we just, oh, it looks like our salt tank. We lost a little bit of that. The hose didn't move. I totally forgot to wrap that up. As much as you prepare, you always forget something, right? But it looks like our climbing asters, everything back here which this is the side of the house, right? The wind would have been coming across the house. So this would have been actually one of the more protected areas when it came to wind forces just like beating stuff up. And you can see the banana leaves behind me, like they're just shredded. Bananas do not like wind. They are not big fans. Okay, so I gotta stake up that plant, and then let's check out our wildflower garden. So coming out here, so we've got the privet senna to clean up. Looks like some of the giant ironweed, we lost some stalks, but that's okay. I needed to prune that anyways. Milkweed did fine. When we look at our wildflower garden, looks like generally goldenrod's doing great. The blue curls, look at how pretty and happy they are. You made it, and you're gorgeous. Lettuce did fine. I think being in this kind of deeper bed actually worked out really well for me not refilling it. Pepper went down a little bit, but it looks like all of our beet seedlings doing totally fine. Actually, so it looks like this section, while it needs to be a little bit cleaned up, we're doing great. Oh, and I know some of you guys were asking me questions about why I was putting mulch on top. It's kind of like mounding with potatoes. It can help the roots grow. And you can see the sweet potato just popping right up through it. And then it looks like we need to do a little bit of pruning action. Maybe we got like a split on this fire bush, but that's okay. We can prune that up. But overall, our wildflower garden looking great. It's doing totally fine. The loofah looks so sad. It was not a fan. And then in the middle here, we didn't lose any of the pepper cages that I couldn't get out because of sunshine mimosa. So good job, sunshine mimosa. Still have peppers on here. Still have peppers on here, so we will let these grow bigger. So we still got harvest that we can get. I got some more beans I need to harvest. Let's check out this papaya here. So you can see the papaya tipped, but it's got a lot of rain, a lot of water. We maybe lost a little bit of roots, but this is one of those ones that's definitely worth, you know, sometimes it's okay. Like, don't freak out too much if you've gotten a plant that's done this, because the ground is still so moist, and the ones that have shallower root systems and kind of struggle a little bit, they have shallow root systems, so you can oftentimes just get them back up very quickly. So that's what we're going to do, because overall the trunk is intact. We still have fruit hanging on there, so if we can get this up quickly and then get it staked up to try to reestablish some roots, we may be able to save this one. It might be completely fine, and within a week you're going to know. You're either going to start seeing everything die off, or you're going to start seeing it put on a little bit of new growth, and it's just going to be kind of quiet. But you can see this one, it got a little bit of a lean, but it's okay. We'll stake this one up now that we've gone through the storm, so that it can have a little bit of support while it establishes its roots back in. But overall, I mean, they don't really have much protection. Right behind me, right across from them, you can see there's no oaks or pines. There's kind of just a pretty straight wind that can just come through here. And I think our max winds were about 80 miles per hour is the gusts they were saying, with just absolutely sustained winds in the 50s for what, 36 hours? For quite a bit of time. So over here, this totally went. Now what was different about this arch trellis versus our other arch trellises is that those use 7-foot stakes, T-posts, and then you have the cattle panel trellis, which is a much thicker gauge. This was chicken wire, chicken gauged. So it's very, you can see, very floppy. So we're just gonna have to take this apart. And then what we had done is, I think we had small T-posts or something. This was jerry-rigged a long time ago. It has never been a very stable structure. I've always thought about like, oh, we should probably. So I think this is just gonna warrant us, you know, going and getting proper cattle panels and getting the 7-foot T-posts. And that's okay, because Ben and I had already been talking for the new year about how we're gonna put some trellises and stuff in the back garden. So maybe we'll just clear this out for now, and then we'll reset with a good, proper, strong trellis. Because you can see the ones that are like what I put in the video where I said DIY your own cattle panel trellis, these are totally fine. And the gate, and it has to, everybody's tomato. It has to do with the gauge of the metal. You can see much closer, much thicker. And these T-posts are way down in the ground, so they did good. Oh, our baby milkweed that we planted. Boom. There's my other one. Somewhere. Oh, there's the baby. So the biggest risk for those ones right now is me stepping on them as I clean stuff up, but we didn't even lose any of those milkweeds. Amazing. A little bit of defoliation on some flowers like this starry rosenweed. Ugh, I am tired. Just the winds hitting. Ugh, you just can't sleep well. So we did okay here. Overall, the house looks completely fine. And that's why we build good, strong houses. Oh, we lost another trellis here. Honestly, Ben and I have been talking about this trellis having to do something with it, but it's hitting our beautyberry, so we'll need to get that up and off the beautyberry, because that's no good for it. Overall, yeah, the beautyberries look like they were less than happy. So, beautyberries took a bit of a hit. But again, this would be in the side that as those winds came across, they just would have been hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting all day and all night. And it was like what? Let's see. We started getting tropical storm force winds at about 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And it didn't, I mean, this morning we still had tropical storm force winds. So it's still very breezy. It's not like tropical storm force. But let us go to the backyard and see what we can see. It looks like Mr. Cliff had already lost his papaya. Oh my God. Well, I told it we were gonna take it out if it didn't do something. I guess this wasn't what I was thinking. That's the black sapote. Black sapote down. Just snapped in half. Oh, it tipped. There's no way we're getting that back up. That thing is huge. Well, I don't know if you guys can see. And it finally had fruited. See? And I was thinking it might be like mamey sapote, where it's gonna, you know, it takes a long time. I think mamey sapote takes like 24 months to mature. And so I was like, oh, maybe this one, you know, because it put on fruit this spring. I was like, maybe this one's like a long fruit too, like pineapples and the other types of sapote. But, well, we'll take them off, see if anything happens. But that tree's done. There's no way. That tree was easily 20, 30 feet tall. Well, okay. I mean, what you gonna do about it? Now, my plan had been, if that, when I threatened that tree, was that we would put a magnolia, a sweet bay magnolia, because it's a host plant to tiger tail swallowtails. And I'm always looking for reasons, places for host plants, because I love the butterflies. So that was what I was gonna, in my head, I was like, if it doesn't start producing fruit, or we don't like the fruit, that was what I was thinking for that area. And okay, well, but overall, let's see. So it's a few plants down. You gotta think about it. We got a lot of plants. Most people just have grass and then some trees and they're done. Oh man, this peacock flower, very defoliated, but still has flowers, which will be good because whenever the butterflies do come back out, I know they really like the nectar from this one. Okay, so let's go to the backyard, see what it is we can see. What has happened. Okay. So it looks like Calamondin maybe tipped a little bit. Might need to stake that one back up a little just to give it a little bit. Oh no. Jacaranda. That one had a shallow root system. Shoot. Oh, and we were so hoping it was going to flower this coming year. That one, I don't know. We'll have to try to stake it and see if there's anything to be done about it. And then it looks like, let me turn you guys around. One of our Calamondins. I remember thinking the roots were pretty bare on this, so I will reset that one. See if we can get, and there you can see how, no, my yard doesn't end there. It's just, that's the tree that fell. But overall, I mean, not too much that we can't just, and that's one of the things that we saw with both Hurricane Irma and it seems like Ian just driving around, is that overall the native trees by percentage have done significantly better, and more of the tree failures that we see are the exotic trees. I'm not saying you should never get an exotic tree. I'm just saying that's the risk of them, is because they're not necessarily designed to be able to handle even sustained tropical force winds and stuff like that for any extended period of time. So, you know, it's just the risk. And if you look at our yard, we were perfect representation. Our pines are doing fine. Mr. Cliff's oaks, which hang over our driveway pretty significantly. Totally fine. I mean, we lost a little bit of, like, small branches, twigs, not a big deal. But, you know, sapote, jacaranda, you know, those are our big losses, which sucks. Papaya, I don't know, we can argue, is it native, is it not native? Either way, though, we can maybe recover that. The privet senna, I think we can recover. The fact that we didn't really lose anything in the native garden, amazing. We didn't really lose anything in the vegetable garden either. Maybe this loofah is not happy, but I was already thinking of tearing that out anyways, because I was like, I can only use so much loofah. So we want to give space for tomatoes. But it looks like all the tomatoes on the ground level, I mean, they were all actually small enough that I think that, they actually did okay. So now what we gotta go do is start cleaning this up and reopening up the house. So let's get that going.